I came home to farm is how it started, and there wasn't enough opportunity at our farm to support two families doing it.
I started off with a Wolf 250. It was a 1988, and it was built in a barn, and it had every part on it from a scrapyard you could think of.
There was sacrifices that you had to make it work, I guess.
Keep up with equipment and trying to have the latest, greatest stuff just to make sure that we do the most quality work as we can.
Welcome to the Water Table Podcast. We kind of have a fun episode today. We're calling this a tailgate talk out in the field on location. Have a couple of customers with me and Karl, Guetter, our agricultural segment lead. We just wanted to talk to Nate, Ludvigson and Dustin Nelson here, two contractors. Nate's over by Madison, Minnesota. Is that your address, Nate? Madison?
Yep.
Madison, Minnesota. And Dustin, you're in South Dakota.
Yep.
What's your address? What town?
Summit,
South Dakota, 605 drainage and Ludvigson drainage. So thanks guys for joining us, and just want to have a conversation about what you guys do in the field and a little bit about your lives, how you got started, those kind of things. So appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, appreciate you having us.
Thank you.
Nate, I've known you for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You've been in business probably 2012, that time frame, or is it before that even?
I think this is probably close to our 20th year.
20th already.
So I'm thinking it
Started when you were 10.
Yep, when I was 10 years old.
The 20th year already, and kind of how'd you get started in the business?
I came home to farm is how it started, and there wasn't enough opportunity at our farm to support two families doing it. So I was always interested in drainage, and I just had an opportunity where a cousin and his brother-in-law, we bought a Wayne's plow together and a backhoe, and we started doing some of our own. And before you know it, we had calls from other people, and my other partners, they had enough going on, so I decided to split that up, and I went on my own.
Yeah.
And that's how it started, I guess.
Yeah. Kind of.
What'd Charlie say when you told him what you were going to do?
Are you sure? Are you sure? Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure now?
Yeah, no, it's worked out good. I guess I really enjoy farming, and I really enjoy drainage. So, I mean, I get a little bit of both worlds. That I never thought I'd be doing it, but it worked out good.
And what does a crew look like for you? Do you run two machines all the time or part of the time?
Part of the time we'll run two. When we're in a seepage, doing more seepage, we'll run both plows. Like now, they're in the summer, we're kind of leapfrogging them, doing mains through crop. We have 8 guys now, I believe. So and then I hire surveying out. So it seems like it's been working for us this way, I guess. I don't know. Everybody's got a different philosophy on how it should run and work. So that's the way we're doing it.
Good. Dustin, you're more of a newbie to the industry.
I am.
2021 started your business. How did that come about? Why did you decide to join this industry?
So I'm a 5th generational farmer, and in 2008 we tiled our home quarter, and it just seen how much of a difference it really made and how good it was for the ground. And 2021 we wanted to kind of make another jump forward, and we always wanted to own our own land, and the first thing we'd want to do anytime we have our own land is make sure we get good drainage in it and tile it. So then we kind of just got in, did more research on it, and jumped in both feet first. Is crazy. So
yeah. What's the biggest surprise in those 5 years?
Oh man, how much money it really takes to support that business. I mean, it's so much with trying to keep up with equipment and trying to have the latest, greatest stuff just to make sure that we do the most quality work as we can, you know, because we want to make sure that we're leaving our customers with the best product they could ever have.
What machine did you start with?
I started off with a Wolf 250. It was a 1988, and it was built in a barn, and it had every part on it from a scrapyard you could think of. I was proud of it though. It had a new paint job on it, and then I thought I had the world by the ass. It was a machine. So through there, we made different updates, and we're getting a lot more efficient and just trying to be the most efficient way possible as we can.
Did any family help you?
Nope,
Just you and
just
group of
me.
hired men?
Yep. So I was farming with a family farm at that time, and I would farm on this, mainly farm, and then in the spring and fall I would tile on the side. In the summer we would do our mains and stuff, and we just got into it and busier and just loved it. So kind of how we started.
Nate, you were and I'm not really asking your age, but I kind of am asking your age. You were pretty young when you started
I
in this
was.
business. Yeah.
I'm 45.
Yeah. So 25 years old, and there isn't too many people that I know in our industry that would start in the business without it being kind of a family legacy, start working with their dad or their uncle or something. You just kind of started on your own. Did have some partners in the beginning, but you still started on your own. And what were some of those early, challenges, struggles that you maybe didn't expect that now are in the distant past? Like,
I know there was some conversation with the banker, this better start working here or else we better think about something else.
Yeah.
And you kind of know how that conversation goes
Yeah.
at home. So
yeah,
there was sacrifices that you had to make it work, I guess, but it's tough kind of to get started on your own in this industry, but I don't know. A lot of contractors don't communicate with each other. It seems like it's not like farming where you can ask, hey, what corn did you plant here or there? But
Right.
you kind of figure out along the way right
Yeah.
from wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what else to say about
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
no, and you do work with your wife, right? Was that from the
Yes.
beginning, or did she start later on?
she was working as a school teacher then, but she still would help.
Okay.
I still farmed this whole time when I was doing this. My dad took care of a lot of the farm stuff. Like, he took care of all the farm stuff, and when I had time after work, I would help him. So I mean, I'd say he's a pretty big support to what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's some of the guys that I've hired throughout the years. Some of them have been there since I started. So we've had some really good help and
Yeah.
local help, and I've been really fortunate for that they treat it as it's their own too. I think
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
When
Absolutely.
you got people like that surrounding it. So
Your farm and your business have both come up together, and they've both grown very nicely since I've known you. And just curious what the different things are between the two, or the things that are the same that's helped them both grow along the way. And I mean, it's, I don't want to say everything you touch turns to gold. I mean, that may be the case, but I mean, that's a pretty tall task to grow them both like you have.
we looked at it as we didn't want to take. If we're going to keep farming and doing what we're doing, tiling, we didn't want one to get not taken care of. So we wanted to grow both of them along the way. And I think we've started to use our group that tiles a little bit more on the farm too, if we get behind on one end of the other of it. So we've tried to bring them together more and to make it work a little better, I guess. I don't know.
I will say your crew has always been supportive of your farming operation as well, which
Yeah.
isn't always the case, right? A lot of times if a guy's got a second gig or whatever, the crew's like, I want nothing to do with that. But I mean, I've known your guys, most of them, for a long time, and they're super dudes. But
Yeah, they're a good group. They look out for each other. I mean, and the farm and the whoever's out there. I mean, it's a good group. Our surveyor too has been a big part of it. Tony is his name, Abrahamson, and you know him. I mean, we all know him, but he's been a big part of it growing as well. So I mean, it's the whole group together, I think, has helped.
and now his son's in the biz, right?
Yep, Max.
So so that's going to continue on.
Yes. Yep. They got a great business there. They do a really good job, and they're growing too. They're going to do some drone spraying, and Max is getting into that kind of stuff. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Dustin, what, looking back at the 5 years you've been in business, like, what's something that you would maybe do different or that surprised you about, you already said the money and how much it costs, but what would you do different if you had to do it again?
I guess if I could do it again, I probably wouldn't change anything because the journey itself has been so crazy. I mean, there's times that you want to just absolutely sell the business for $1, pay somebody to take it away from you. But at the end of the day, I truly love what I do. I mean, I'm a farmer at heart and I still get to do that. And I still get to do drainage. And just like Nate was saying, like we have such a good team. We have some that prefer to farm, some that prefer to tile, but yet we'll kind of go back and forth as is who needs help and what. And also like just work together on things. And I wouldn't change a thing, I don't think, just because if I didn't have those hard days, I wouldn't appreciate the good ones, you know?
Yeah, and it's really great, and I try to share that on the podcast a lot. Just a lot of people don't understand what it's like to live in rural America, and when you get in the spring, the excitement of spring and excitement of, you know, when the crop starts coming out of the ground and how fast it grows. Nate and I, before the podcast here a couple minutes ago, we're just talking about how much the corn is stretching out now, and how, you know, a week from now, it'll look quite a bit different than it does today. And then when you get to fall, that's even more excitement because everybody in the rural communities are working together. And now you have a different seat at the table with that. Both of you guys do, from just being a farmer, you're a farmer, but you can also see that from the contractor standpoint, and how all the farmers, and whether Karl's talked about that before, but whether you're 80 years old or you're a young kid going to school, you all have a part of getting that crop in the fall, and it's just different, and it's really neat.
Yeah.
People don't understand. So
Absolutely.
Let's jump forward a little bit. So we've been talking about the past, but this winter at trade shows, as we've been visiting with some folks, one thing I've been hearing a little more, right, is that the jobs that guys are getting into right now are the hard ones because the easy ones are done. What does that look like from your seat? Is there some truth to that in your neck of the woods?
Yes, yeah. No, there's challenges out there. Yeah, it's not all, that's pretty true to what you said though, but we see a lot of it now getting replaced, some of the old stuff that was put in. But out our way, we really have to get creative with our outlets. We don't have that. And I think that's some of the hard jobs that you're hearing about. Yeah.
Pumping
and berming and ditching, and, you know, just improving.
just finding a place for that water.
Finding
to
a
go.
place, yeah.
Yeah. How about, do you guys work in high water table stuff often, or?
We are today.
Yeah.
Yeah, high water table sand is, I think, that's where we get challenged.
The most.
That can throw us for a little loop. So
That makes things interesting for sure.
yeah.
I'd say maybe 1/8 of my jobs are that high water sand. You know, most of our stuff up in our area is a heavier clay, a lot slower release.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always veins of sand, it seems like, too, as you're going along.
What's your hopes? Either one of you can have, but what's your, like, when you look ahead 10 years, and, you know, 10 years is when you're in your 40s. Doesn't seem like you'd be that old, but I know what 10 years ago felt like. I'm in my 50s now, and you start thinking ahead 10 years. You're maybe thinking ahead to your 50s, but you're not thinking ahead to your 60s. So you just know you will when you're in your 50s. And what do you hope for in 10 years, like, for your business? Do you have any plans to involve kids or family, or, like, how are you thinking about it?
So I guess I kind of think in 10 years, like, I don't really have a huge goal. Like, I have small goals working up. I mean, I have a massive goal that would be nice someday, but my main one, I guess, would be just to still enjoy what I'm doing and getting to spend the time with my family and have a relationship with them still. Like, I'm a workaholic at heart, so my biggest struggle is to make sure that doesn't come between me and my family and my boys, trying to remember that they got stuff going on too, you know.
Yeah.
I have some family. I have a son. I have a daughter, and and I have some nephews. If any of them want to be part of the farm or the tiling, I've just like them to have the opportunity to do it, because
they'll be kicking you out.
that's fine with me.
They've already talked to us about that.
I'm sure they have. Yeah.
So what, you know, another thing I kind of was thinking about as I was thinking about visiting with you two guys is, kind of questions do you have for people like Karl and I that are on the other side of the industry than you guys, and we're in the manufacturing space, and Karl is a little bit unique from the standpoint of he does farm, so he understands that side, but he gets to have conversations with a lot of guys that are like you from Illinois or from, and I can't remember, that was Dustin, you said a little bit ago about 2008, you
Had a piece
had your
tiled.
first piece tiled, and it's like guys in Illinois will just be shaking their head when they're listening to this, like 2008, like we did that in 1958,
Yeah.
and so there's all these differences that, someone like Karl gets to see because he's out and about a lot. But kind of questions do you have for us? Anything about?
I guess one of my questions, the first one that pops to my head is like, how is AI going to change your guys' business? Like, how's AI going to change our relationship and how we do business moving forward?
Oh, my opinion on the way you do business specifically is, I mean, there's been a lot of work done on the design side. I would say the last couple of years, right? When Nate and I got started, we got to witness the advent of GPS, right? And GPS control, and that was huge. And then there's been small things that have happened along the way that have moved the bar a little bit. But from an equipment standpoint, and bigger plows, faster plows, all that kind of fun stuff, but nothing really changed the game. So I think the design side, I don't know exactly how it's all going to roll in. I'm sure there's going to be, you can click a button, have a farm designed, but there's going to be limitations to that, right? So it's not just going to be a one shop or a one-stop shop type thing, but I think it would definitely impact that. From Prinsco's relationship to you guys, from our side, the biggest piece, hopefully, right, is it'll give us the ability to understand what we are and aren't doing correctly, right? I mean, do we have the right pieces in place? Are we doing the right things? There's nothing about making pipe that AI can really do. I mean, I'm sure there's some things with like preventive maintenance, right? And different little pieces of the process that could touch. But from my seat on the sales side, the amount of data and how quickly you can get answers will hopefully help us just be in a better position, right?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think ultimately long term, who knows what, I mean, I was going to say, well, we're going to announce today that we got some robot that's actually going to tile. So, but no, I think long term, you are going to see it touch a lot of areas, but I think the next few years we'll start to see accuracy and inventories and what, we have, I don't know, how many SKUs do we have, Karl? Couple thousand?
Yeah, more than that.
I mean, we have over 50 SKUs just a 4-inch pipe when you start talking about narrow slot and muck pipe and non-perf and perf and which length and all that. And so what to make, when to make it, I think those kind of tools will be coming pretty fast that hopefully are not iterations of like, oh, this is going to work and it doesn't. Hopefully it'll just start to work and we can keep refining and keep refining. And it just gets better and better. Those are the types of things I see, and it does what Karl said right away. It does all revolve around data, right? So
speed. I mean, the speed piece is what's incredible about it, really.
Yeah.
Got any thoughts? Anything we get to talk quite often. You do with Karl, and so probably have asked everything you've ever wanted to know.
I don't know about that. On the contractor side of it, you guys run a pretty smooth ship. So
Thanks.
Yeah, it's definitely a benefit. I do feel like Prinsco's the top of the line. I mean, when you want Cadillac pipe, I guess I've looked at a lot of different ones, and I mean, Prinsco's got a great product. And then on top of it, like, I can't say enough about your guys' service. On the farm side, we get so many different types of salesmen. And when you're looking at delivery and ordering and pre-ordering, like, you switch over to the pipe side and you're dealing with ordering pipe, and it's like, holy buckets, this is how service is supposed to be, and I guess I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, well, thanks. And I think those are things we will continue to be able to improve on as we get more data and more accuracy and with AI's help. So But appreciate the time, guys, and it's fun to have the opportunity to visit with two guys that actually compete a little bit against each other, but understand the opportunities there are to learn from each other. And, you know, that's what we hope the water table is doing and can do long term for people that are listening. So appreciate all you do for Prinsco as customers. Appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, appreciate you having us.
Thank you.
Thanks.